Alright guys, welcome again to Chibang Empire. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, you know how it is. We got three special guests here with us today. I'm gonna let them all introduce themselves real quick. So we're gonna start on my right, work our way down.
Alright, my name is Tapiwa Chikwenya, from Zimbabwe. Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
My name is Paul Shoshe, also from Zimbabwe. I'm really happy to be part of this discussion.
Buholo, I'm from South Africa, so very close to Zimbabwe.
Very
I'm also
close.
very close, and I'm also very happy to be here.
So as you guys can see, we got a lot of happy people that's gonna be here with us today. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing indeed. But today we're gonna talk mainly about like mental health in terms of men specifically. So like same things that we struggle with as men, certain challenges that kind of affect our mental health, and how to kind of combat that those type of issues to kind of promote that mental health within the male community. So yeah, so like when we're talking about mental health, what really comes to mind when I say what is mental health to you? What do you think when I ask that kind of question, Quinn?
I'm going to say mental health has to do with your mental condition, strength, or well-being per se. I mean, if something is healthy, if your body is healthy, it's in good condition. It can perform whatever it has to do well. So I think it's well functional and it's strong. So your mental base is strong. And adding on to that, probably I would say that you're like an overly happy person, and you're overly, in a good state.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you, Pastor Paul?
I think I agree with what Tapiwa said. I also think that I think part of that wellness comes from being authentic about who you are, and to the people who know you, and just being able to respond to situations and address what needs to be addressed at the appropriate time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'd say mental health is just taking care of your mental state, just as you take care of your physical state, just as you take care of your finances, so to say, just taking care of your mental state. And we often ignore our mental self and just like focus more on like physical self, like going to the gym and things like that, but seldomly we take time to focus on our mental state. So I'd say mental health is just focusing on the like you said, the well-being of your mental state.
The balance, like you always say.
Yeah. Balance.
Yeah, man. Yes.
Having a balance, mentally balance, because you wanna have a physical balance, you wanna have a financial balance where you operate in, but also having a mental balance is also very important.
100%.
That's some good strong points, guys. I think I kind of agree with everything that you guys said. I mean, really it's all about taking care of yourself, right? Mentally taking care of yourself and just ironing out any issues that you might have or whatever the case might be, so that your mental health is as best as it can ever be. You only know how far or how low your mental health is. That nobody else can tell you that. You can only feel that for yourself, whether you're struggling mentally or not, right? So you just have to be real with yourself and really figure out how and how to promote that mental health, I guess, in my opinion. So that would be like
really good.
That thing, yeah. So like, what do you guys think are some of the symptoms that you can see either objectively or subjectively as far as mental health goes? Like, what are some of those symptoms that kind of stick out? What would be some of the objective symptoms, some things that you can self-notice within yourself, some of those symptoms? What would be some of those symptoms? Like when you do like a self-assessment.
I'm going to say something very controversial, but I'm going to talk about weight, for example. Either you're too overweight or too underweight. That can be a signal of your mental state. Some people respond to stimuli differently, like you're under too much stress, you don't eat that much, or you don't work out that much,
Or you overeat.
or you overeat. So that can actually be a point. Sometimes maybe the signal is wrong, but it's a signal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes you might be right and see a drastic change in someone's physical health, which is coming from a mental source. So yeah.
So that mental health can also contribute to other aspects of your other health and affect it.
That's where everything starts, man. With your mental self. I, for one, know someone who had mental health issues. I didn't know they had mental issues, but until they committed suicide, and then I started tracing behaviors, prior to to the actual events of them killing themselves. And then I realized it was in the small things, man. The small jokes they did about certain things, and like you don't pay attention to all those things until it's too late. And it's something that I could have definitely seen if I was aware of certain, like you asked for symptoms. If I like was much more aware of the symptoms that people display when suffering mental health issues, I could have seen that before, but like they were just as normal. But you could tell by certain jokes or certain behaviors that they did. Sometimes always putting on a smile can be a sign.
So you kind of like try to cover it up,
cover emotions up. So I mean that was till the point of death, and it was too late till that point. So
sorry about that. Now, I was about to say that also social media is also some way to tell that.
So much pressure on social media these days.
Just some
like things that they post, I guess.
Yeah, those statuses, those posts, are like, oh man, this some pictures.
That's kind of questionable. Like, I mean, you kind of mentioned like a real example, right? You gave us an example of an experience, I guess, that you've had dealing with mental health issues. Like, what would be some of the experiences that you guys can kind of share with us here today? Or post or poll?
As far as for me, I think when I know that I'm not well mentally, I think I get irritated quickly. Sometimes I find out I'm not resting well. I think that involves sleep, and also as far as taking time for yourself to do other things that you enjoy. It might be music, playing sports if you're a sports fan, and taking time out for yourself to be able to do those things so that you can be able to recover. Because sometimes you end up getting bent out.
For sure.
By what you're doing. So I think for me, those are some of the signs that show me that I may not be in the right state.
State of mind.
For me,
I mean, does anybody have any example as far as like maybe like things that has to do with love? Maybe one time broken or something. That can mess you up mentally. As a man.
For me, I mean, in the dating world, I had a relationship and my heart was broken, and I just had to come out to my friends and tell them that I was hurting, and prior to saying that, I was under the impression that just keeping it in and keeping the the strong persona makes you feel like you're big and being protective, but they were very appreciative that I say that, and I feel like the people that you call your friends are not your friends until they know all of you, right? Both the good and the bad. So I think this points towards us being able to address some of the issues as far as a recovery, that I think we as men have to do a better job of communicating and maybe talking to some of our friends, the people we know, about the struggles we go through.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a good one. A heartbreak would definitely throw you off mentally.
It does.
And I think it's very important that you mentioned that those guys were very appreciative when you mentioned that day, man. Look, I'm hurting, man. I'm struggling. I don't know how to deal with this. And I think for those that will have the opportunity for people to come and tell you certain things like that, I think it's very important to have that open mind and know that it took a lot for this individual to come and say whatever they said to me, and that they have trust in me, for them to have that trust to tell you that type of things. You shouldn't take it lightly, right? So now, if you go around making jokes about it and things of that nature, that kind of kills that whole spirit of opening up, and then that's what a lot of men struggle with, because then your friends will laugh at you when you say your issues or whatever the case might be. They're like, "Ah, man, that's so stupid," but it's not stupid to me because I'm struggling with this, right? So just be open, listen, and don't listen just to respond or have a quick fix, but really be there for that individual, right? Because you never know how severe it might be. Maybe that person is on the verge to commit suicide, and you might be that person that they need to just, get them off the edge. So whatever you say, it goes a long way. Do you have any experience, Tapio?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna talk about a very personal experience with me, especially with my father. That's all like the love experiences I've had, which affect my mental health as far as the way I relate to fatherly love probably is different to how people relate to that, with children, your availability, your effort, your dedication, your passion, it's gonna affect how your kids view you and and even treat their own kids. So I think that's one area I would say I kind of took some notes and probably some, behaviors probably, and I hope, hopefully I have tackled that, along the course. But definitely that's something that really has affected my love life, even in other areas of my life. I'm not gonna say, so much to take time, but so I'd say I've had experiences like this, that have really got me thinking.
That's some deep stuff, man. That's very deep. I never really thought about it that way. Sometimes the relationships that fathers have with their kids, especially their sons, also affect or impact them later on in life. Let's say you're like a rough father, hey, it's just a hostile environment in the house, man. Sometimes you think, oh, that's the way to go. When you have your own kids too, now you do the same thing. So it's like a domino effect. So it kind of, not just affect you, it affects your kids, affect your grandkids, because that's the same environment that they also been exposed to based on how their great grandfather was. So I think it's good to, now that you recognize it, and then you work on it. Now it's like an internal thing. It's just you're no longer doing it for him. You're more doing it for your kids and for you as well. So it's just to kind of heal yourself in that aspect, so that your kids can grow up in an even better environment than what you grew up. I mean, it turned out fine. But your kids, gotta have a better daddy or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. Do you guys have anything to add towards his point?
Man, I think he hit it on the nail, man.
Yeah.
All right.
That was strong.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's struggling out there, man. Mentally, it's an everyday thing. You have to put in the work every day. So it's not if I fix this, I'm good to go. Nah, it's a constant thing. Just like if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to gain weight, it's a constant thing. So just like anything else, it's just keep going.
Consistency.
Yeah. So, how do you guys think, sometimes we contribute to people's mental health issues, knowingly or unknowingly?
Okay. I think one of the ways is, I think sometimes shutting down people when they say something, then you just respond in a way that may be even offensive sometimes, or just laughing, kind of bullying people. I know I've been guilty of trying to make people conform to what I think they should act. And also I know that in the cultures that we come from, there's a certain way and a certain expectation that you're supposed to behave. But I think it's time that we start recognize that we are all unique, and we all have our individual characteristics, and people have to feel free to be who they are.
Oh yeah, for sure. Most definitely. Most definitely. You guys have anything else to add on that?
Nah, but no, well, actually, I do especially when it comes to contributions. There's behaviors that we have as men. Men when you hear something concerning someone's vulnerability, the first thing that comes to mind is laugh. You know, have a good, quick laugh. Oh yeah, that's funny.
Man, it's weak. It's so weak.
You know, but yeah, definitely. That's one way we do. Like, you know, we add on to that, and then the next thing is, you know, men usually don't pay attention, bro. Like, you come there, you talk about your personal deep issues. Oh shit. They bring up stuff that's like trivial. Like, okay. Anyway, let's talk about something else.
Did you see that game though? Like, did you see LeBron the other day?
You know,
I'm trying to, you know, empty myself right now. You guys are talking about LeBron. I mean, that's the king, by the way. There's nothing wrong with LeBron, but
so we do contribute. And then the next thing, you know, someone does something that's, you know, big, they hurt themselves, they, you know, some commit suicide, some abuse other people, they beat their wives, they, you know, get into fights, they do substance abuse, drugs, you know, that kind of thing.
So why do you guys think it's so difficult for us as men to just talk about our feelings and just open up and even just to confront our own feelings, not even talking to somebody, but just your own self, just to confront how you really feel, kind of process that and really digest it and see, you know, where you at with the whole thing. Why is it so difficult for us to kind of do that?
Yeah, that one, man, it's really, well, it's not, this is not the only reason why, but one of the reasons why is because of how we raised sometimes, you know.
Sure.
In a lot of cultures, we were raised in, you know, in the idea that, you know, boys are supposed to be strong. Boys are not supposed to show emotion. Boys are supposed to, you know, to be tough. Toughen it out, man. Toughen it out. You're a boy. Don't cry. You're a boy.
Sure.
You know, that's the role in a lot of cultures. And you grow up with this thing. And truth be told, man, we all have that little boy inside. I don't care how old you are, we still have that little boy inside of us.
Yes, sir.
You know, and we carry that into our manhood. We go into manhood and, you know, man, don't cry. Man is supposed to be tough. Even though we face very tough situations, very, you know, like, you know, pressure, like situations that bring pressure on us. You know, we still try to toughen it out. You know, and sometimes it's in those moments where you're like, you know what, I have to talk to someone. You know what, I need help with 1, 2, 3. But unfortunately, we don't do that, right? Because we've grown up with this idea and this habit of not speaking, of not seeking out help.
Wow.
So, yeah, man, it's really how we're brought up. You know, the cultures that we come from, and the environment that we're exposed to. You know, the friends that we've kept. You know, maybe you and your boys. You know, you have that bravado energy going on with your bros. You know, and everyone is going through stuff, but you guys don't show it. You just come together in that. Oh, we're bros.
It's
you know, alpha male type nonsense. But that's
what's up.
Do you have anything to add, Mr. Paul?
So I think sometimes it's an issue of perception, right? You don't want to be perceived as weak or broken, and you know, so you try to cover that up as much as you can. However, I do think that I remember, for example, I was at a certain funeral and I saw one of my older brothers cry. Tell you, it was one of the most powerful testament in my life.
Wow. Because
it showed me that, you know, first of all, even though he's someone I've always thought is strong, he can still go through those kind of emotions. It allowed me also to be free. To be able to express it out. And I think
I like that.
In many ways, even though we try to cover and keep this strong, tough persona, I think it's better for people sometimes to see how broken we are. And then they can see that even though we are broken, we're still able to overcome and achieve and go through struggle and still be able to have that energy to go on, you know, despite what we may go through. But it's one of those that are easier said than done.
It takes a lot of work. Like I said, it's an everyday thing. You know?
Okay.
So how do you guys think we can kind of promote that good mental health within the male community, so that, you know, we can be better for our spouses, our kids, our parents, our friends, our families, because if you're toxic, it messes up everybody else.
Everybody
right?
else, yeah.
Around you. So how can we make sure that our mental health is good to where it also benefits the people around us?
I think first of all, for ourselves, we have to be more intentional in trying to address and communicating some of our issues. I also do think that in our environment, in our social gatherings, we have to promote the kind of culture that allows people to be open, right?
Oh yeah.
It may be games that we play where we just say, today we're just telling the truth, or truth or lie, whatever, how we approach it. But we have to promote and get rid of some of this nonsense of
And that's powerful,
being alpha male, and you can't show any vulnerability if you're alpha male 100% perfect. I mean, I think we need to stop giving praise to those kind of ideas and start promoting what we actually think we want to see happen, which is well-being, right? And lastly, I would say we need to be more sensitive to the people around us, and sometimes we need to probe questions like, what's really going on with you? Because sometimes you can see that K doesn't have that right vibe that I always see on him, and I think it's okay to say, hey man, is there something going on? Is there something I can do? Reach out that way, so I think those are some things that can be done.
Yeah, as males, man, I feel like the society that we live in, like we put ego at the forefront, and sometimes you gotta let go of ego, man. Just be real with yourself, and be real with the people that you love too. If you really want good quality relationships with self and with others, whether it's romantic or friendships, man, sometimes you have to let go of your ego, and for the sake of yourself and for the sake of others, do things that promote good mental well-being, like you said, like be intentional about it, actively do things that promote good mental well-being, because it's not only beneficial for you, but like beneficial for the relationships of those around you as well.
100%.
So like you said, man, just being intentional, just as how you'd be intentional in the gym, just as you'd be intentional with how you want your finances to be in order, or whatever in your life that you want to be in order. Like, you put the same intent in those things in your life. You have to be intentional with also your mental state. It ties in with spirituality as well, but I don't want to divert from the topic at hand of mental health.
100%.
But it does go hand in hand, mental health and spirituality.
100%.
But just like you said, I think you made a very excellent point with being intentional with dealing with it.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and I think it just certain things that you also feed your brain also can contribute or can also affect you mentally as far as the health goes as well. So some content that will feed each other out there, and like certain things that we watch also lead us in those predicaments where like our mental health is in jeopardy because of certain things that we expose ourselves to. So just be careful what kind of stuff you feed your brain, that what kind of energy that you invite around yourself.
That you let your kids be exposed to, because it really starts at a young age, man. Starts at a young age, and you grow with it. The more you grow, the more the stuff becomes solidified into your subconscious, into your mental well-being. And the more you grow, it's hard to let go of some of these stuff too, man. Like, you become so addicted to whatever content that you're exposed to, that it's hard to let go at a certain point in life where you could have controlled it at a young, fragile age.
Especially if you know that it always triggers certain things in your life, or like, let's say somebody watches the news all the time. Now you're always pissed off about the rest of the stuff that's going on in the world because of the content that you're watching. If I'm playing 2K and it boosts my morale, it helps me just distress. That's a good way of kind of doing those type of things. So to kind of cut the whole story short, mental health is a big thing out there. It's definitely one of those topics that a lot of people don't really put too much thought into it, even though it's a broad topic. So just make sure that you guys just take care of yourselves. But let's see what Tapio has to say real quick before we wrap up.
For sure. I mean, I was burning for that.
Go, Tapio.
I want to talk about like activity, like this new 2K generation, like activity wise.
It's 2K and
2K, like people bond
2K
like
and the basketball.
2000s or the basketball game.
2000 era,
Yeah, 'cause I was about to say, man, you started with something
I was
else.
like, hey, bro, are you like being shady?
Man, like talk about like activity, bro. Like talk about fishing, talk about soccer, talk about sport, stuff that keeps your mind busy. I feel like sometimes some of these things which happen to us, we build them up for so long, and we don't have spaces or containers where we can just reset our brains to clear up a little bit more. So I think that's something to like to help us with releasing that build up pressure. Like right now we're a couple of friends, we're coming from miles away, you're doing something else, I do something else, but right now we're just letting go, we are refreshing, we're resetting.
That's crazy.
Begin a new week, bro, you're like a new person, like you're so I think that activity that really makes you reset, keep your brain busy, do some mental exercise. That's really good for you.
That's beautiful, man.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, guys, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
You did an excellent
Man, follow us on Instagram, man. Yeah, man. I'm on Flat 6, bro. .gti, bro. I'm a car nerd, bro.
That's
Come on, man.
What do you say after that?
Oh, bro.
Yeah, I think it kind of put the little cherry on top right there. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and thank you all you guys for coming and participating and just having a great discussion. This was great. I learned a lot, even though I can't put the topic together, but there's something that hit me out of nowhere. I'm like, hold on, where did this come from? But it was good. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the next time that we'll do another video together. This was a great company.
Thank you.
If you guys ever have any suggestions on topics, feel free to let us know. And for the viewers too, like if you ever have a suggestion, just let us know something that you want to see on the screen. Just let us know.
Oh yeah.
And drop your comments too. Let us know. Get engaged. Let's talk about it. But don't forget, always, be a good wingman. So just look out for one another. Like if you see somebody struggling, be there to support. Or if you're struggling, reach out for help. Don't matter what avenue you go to, but just go and reach out for some help.
Don't bottle it up.
Check up on others as well.
Absolutely.
But again, King K, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, you already know.